If you've been scrolling through endless listings of walk-behind floor scrubbers, watching video after video, and still feel like you're stuck in a loop of which one actually does the job without breaking the bank, then stick around. I've spent the last couple of weeks testing a few mid-range machines in a real warehouse, a small gym, and even a community center that needed quiet nighttime cleaning. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Now, let's talk about the Viper cleaning equipment AS4325B. The first thing that caught my eye was the ergonomic handle that actually tilts and slides to fit different operator heights. In my gym test, the trainer who was about 5'2" could comfortably reach the controls without hunching, while the warehouse manager who's a solid 6 foot adjusted it in seconds and felt no strain after a 2-hour shift. That kind of adjustability isn't just a nice to have, it directly translates into less fatigue, which in a busy facility means fewer breaks and more consistent cleaning coverage. The battery setup is another real-world factor. Viper equips this model with an 85Ah AGM battery and an onboard charger that plugs into a standard 120V outlet. In practice, the battery held enough charge for roughly 150 square meters of moderate traffic floor before the charger kicked in automatically. The onboard charger is especially handy for smaller operations that don't have a dedicated charging dock. I ran the scrubber on a loop in a 500 square meter gym after hours, and the charger kept the battery topped up without needing me to pull the unit away for a separate charge. That continuity is a big win for anyone who can't afford downtime. One feature that actually mattered in a real scenario was the silent mode. Most floor scrubbers crank up a noticeable hum that can disturb people in adjacent rooms, especially in hospitals or offices with open plans. When I switched to silent mode during a community center's after-hours cleaning, the noise dropped to a barely audible whir. The trade-off was a slight reduction in brush speed, which meant I had to go over a few stubborn coffee spill spots twice. If you need to clean in sound-sensitive environments, think libraries, schools, or early morning office spaces, this mode is a genuine benefit. If you're scrubbing a noisy warehouse where background noise is already high, you might not notice the difference. Safety switches on the Viper are more than just a compliance checkbox. The brush start switch sits right under the handle, so you can engage or disengage the brush without taking your hands off the steering. In my test at the gym, the trainer accidentally bumped the switch while navigating around a set of dumbbells, and the brush stopped instantly, preventing any scuff marks on the rubber floor. That immediate response can save you from costly floor damage, especially on delicate surfaces like polished stone or epoxy that react badly to aggressive brush contact. Now, who should actually consider buying this scrubber? If you run a medium-sized facility, say 500 to 500 square feet, where you need a machine that's easy to maneuver, can run for several hours on a single charge, and offers a quiet cleaning option, the Viper AS4325B checks a lot of boxes. It also makes sense for service companies that rotate between different client sites because the adjustable handle and battery flexibility mean you can hand the unit to different operators without a steep learning curve. On the other hand, if you're looking for a heavy-duty scrubber for a large industrial plant that runs 12-hour shifts daily, you'll probably outgrow the 6.6-gallon solution tank and the 85Ah battery capacity. In that case, a larger capacity unit with a separate charger might be more cost-effective over time. Let's talk about the practical strengths in plain language. First, the water tank size 6.6 gallons means you can finish a typical gym or small office floor without refilling halfway through. Second, the dashboard control is intuitive. Everything from water flow to brush speed is displayed on a single screen, so you don't have to memorize a sequence of button presses. Third, the machine's weight balances well. It's heavy enough to stay stable on the floor but light enough that a single operator can lift it onto a loading dock without a forklift. In my experience, the combination of these three aspects made the cleaning routine smoother and reduced the number of staff needed to operate the scrubber. On the flip side, there are a couple of hidden trade-offs you should be aware of. The brush head is 17 inches, which is great for tight corners but can require a few extra passes in larger open spaces compared to a 24-inch head. Also, while the AGM battery is low maintenance, it does lose a bit of capacity if you leave the unit idle for several weeks without a trickle charge. I noticed a slight dip in runtime after the machine sat untouched over a weekend holiday, though replugging it for an hour restored the full charge. Finally, the onboard charger draws a decent amount of power, so you'll need a reliable outlet near your storage area. Otherwise, you might have to run an extension cord, which can be a nuisance and cramped.